Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and I'm back with the last 5 library books and my thoughts and my predictions revealed. I feel like it's been a very long time since I've filmed anything. I know I posted a video last week, but I mean I filmed that at the beginning of May, and now we're at the beginning of June. So yeah, it's been a little while. Well, I mean, it took me a while to get through all of these books, more so than I thought it was going to be, but here we are, 6 weeks later. I've finally read everything. No, not 6. 6 is too long. 3 is typical. 4 weeks. I had to extend my library books because, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to be able to read all of these. So, well, I read them all, but I mean, I wasn't going to be able to read them all in the time that was allotted to me. Anyways, I'm rambling because it's been so long. I don't know how to make videos anymore. Did I ever know how to make videos? No. Okay. So, let me get to the books. So, the first one I read was Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Crystal Maldonado. This beautiful book. So, I had predicted that I was going to rate this 4 stars, and I rated it 4 stars. This book was just so comforting. I don't know how to describe it any other way. Sometimes, books, I mean, this is so cliched, but sometimes books come into your life at a certain time and you're just like, this is the perfect time for me. There were moments where I really related to Charlie just in the fact that things that were happening to her in her life had consequently, you know what I'm trying to say. They happened to me too. It was a parallel. And it was just really strange to read. And I was like, oh, interesting. But I really liked the mother-daughter relationship in this book because it felt very relatable, because there are just times, I feel like a lot of girls in their teenage years go through a lot of stuff with their mothers. I mean, I know I did. Maybe obviously not to the same extent as Charlie did, where Charlie's mom is always telling her that, oh, if she lost weight, she'd be happier. Like, that's bullshit. Don't tell your children that. But I like that in the end, like, they could kind of come together and they could start talking to each other better and seeing each other's point of views. I think her mom was seeing her not as a person, but as someone she could control. I feel like a lot of parents have that moment where you realize that your teenager is actually a human being with thoughts and feelings and like their own person. So I think her mother had to come to terms with that. But yeah, I really liked this book. So 4 stars, definitely recommend it. We're moving on. I've been drinking a cappuccino, so this is probably not helping my rambly situation, but you know, it is what it is. So the next book I read was Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan, and this was a chonker, a good 500-page book. So apparently so I knew going in that this was a World War II story because it says it on the back. So first of all, this book takes place during World War II in Italy, and it has to do with the Nazis invading Italy, which is something that I've never really thought about. I mean, I'm like, obviously it happened. I mean, Nazi Germany invaded a lot of countries, but it wasn't something that when you learn about it in history, you don't think about it, or maybe I never thought about it. So it was really interesting to read that. Apparently this was based off of, what is his name? Pino Lella is the main character. And everything that's happened to him was supposedly true. So this guy is real, and I believe for a fact that this guy is real. But a lot of the things that happened to him seem almost fabricated. I mean, it felt too good to be true. Like, did that really happen to him? I mean, I can believe some things to a certain extent, but there were other things where I was like, oh, so this really did happen? Okay, I gotta speed this up. My camera's dying. Shit. So, I had predicted to rate this 3.5. I ended up rating it 3. It was really long too. It took a long time to get to it, so it was like, get through it. So 3 stars. The next book I read was The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. So I had predicted that I would rate this a 3.5. I ended up rating it 3. This just didn't give me the same Simon versus the Homo sapiens good hug feely that I was looking for. I was bored by this story. I mean, she's had 26 crushes and now she finally has a boyfriend. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, it bored me. What I liked was the representation. There was a lot of representation. I think the author did a good job of that, but she kind of she was good with that, but she left her characters kind of feeling like, I don't know, like, they weren't as developed as they could have been because she spent so much time making them as developed or as diverse as she could. So it was kind of like, yay on one scale, but nay on the other. What also was really good was that this, I think, took place around the time that gay marriage was being legalized in the United States. And so the main character's moms were able to get married, so that was exciting to read about. I wish we had gotten more of that. I mean, I would have read that story as the main story instead of, I have 26 crushes and now my 27th is my real boyfriend. I didn't care for that. I mean, maybe as a teenager I would have, but me as an almost 30-year-old, I was like, yeah, okay. So, that was this one. Then the next one I read was No One Can Pronounce My Name by Rakesh Setal. This one here. So this did have something to do with people not being able to pronounce his name. So there are 2 main characters. They don't meet until almost halfway through the book. When they do, it's great, but it takes so long to get to. So this was another book where I was like, oh, I'm going to rate this 3.5 stars. 3 stars again, just because it was very slow, but the payoff was good, but just not good enough. I like that this felt hopeful, and I like that that it brought out their hopes and dreams because they felt so suppressed because their cultures didn't see one of the main characters aspires to be a writer. The other main character is a closeted gay person. And obviously their cultures don't see that as being a good thing. And so it took the 2 of them meeting to bring it out into the open and to start accepting themselves. So it was a good read, but a slow read. So I recommend this, especially if you like literary fiction. Literary fiction is very hit or miss for me. So if that's your jam, I would give this a read. Then the last book I read was longlisted for the Canada Reads 2022, and this was The Spoon Stealer by Leslie Crew. This book took me by surprise. So I think I had said 3 stars for this one, and I actually rated it 4 stars. It was so good. The pacing was good, the story was good, it was entertaining. It took place through a span of years, so it started at the beginning of World War I, and then moved all the way until the late 60s, up until 1970, and it followed the main character, Emmeline, and everything that she goes through with her family. It starts off with, she joins a memoir writing class at the library, and she starts telling her story, and that's where she meets friends, and friends are like, and then they form a group, and they're like, we need to know more of your story. So we're told all of her backstory in the form of her memoirs, and it was just so fun to read. And she was such a fun character. Obviously I didn't there were times when I was like, oh, I don't care for her motives and why she's doing what she's doing, but in the end you're like, but she was very persistent, and she had so much love for people that it was just you couldn't help but love her and root for her. So this took me by surprise, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend this one. So I don't know if I sold it to you, but that's this one. So yeah, these were the last 5 library books I read. At some point I'm going to be going to the library again. I don't know when yet, but soon. So these were them. for the most part I enjoyed them, so I'm excited and happy about that. So, until my next video, and hopefully this saved because I'm running out of battery. But until next time, like, subscribe, comment, do your thing, and like I say, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you when I see you. So, bye guys!